Right. The conjugate acid-base pair. The conjugate acid-base pair. Let's say you have HNO3 reacting with what? HSO4 minus to give us NO3 minus and H2SO4. Now, kule reaction, kuthiwa ake identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Now, into exercise identify you look at what it was and what it is. Phela ngapha ama reactants kuqale kunje na umcebile short wagcina unje. So iqale HNO3 igcina seku NO3 ongasenayo H futhi i-charge say more negative. So sithini now, this being beno H ayisenayo H kusho ukuthi inikelile ngaleya H, it has donated more H, so we call this an acid. This is an acid ngoba i-acid ithe donator yasinikeza ini na, yasinikeza NO3 minus okuyini okuyi conjugate base. So each time when an acid donates with H plus, then it forms a conjugate base. A conjugate base, it is H less, it has got less hydrogen. Initially bene hydrogen, uma bene hydrogen eyodwa ayisena hydrogen. Meno hydrogen ababili sena hydrogen eyodwa. Uma sena hydrogen abathathu sena hydrogen ababili. So it has got less hydrogen. Another thing you identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Ukuthi ke i conjugate base yakhona, it charge yakhona, it becomes more negative. If it was neutral, njengala it's neutral, so now it's -1. If it was -1, now it's -2. If base over jan. Now this is an acid and that one is a conjugate base. Bakwethu, uma identify kanje zisuka nje, the other one is the opposite of the other one. Njengoba i-acid le, kusho ukuthi le yini na i-base. Base. Now, base, if this one is a conjugate base, this one is a what? Conjugate acid. Now, phela ngizoyenza ngendlela wrong i-identification. I'm going to do it the wrong way and explain why ngithi i-wrong. Now kusengiyenze kanje ngaphansi. Sengiyabuya futhi ngiyenza kanje ngapha i-wrong le ndlela, i-wrong bakwethu. Sengibuya futhi ngiya ngaphansi futhi ngiyenza ngale ndlela. Now it becomes a problem. Look at that one. Yabona musozobhala ngakusasa. So didekile ulabelishe kanje. Ngeke awusakhumbula ukuthi ile iza la noma ile vese lijika la izeka la musodidekile nje muzobhala ziyajika nezinye izinto. So you are not allowed to do this. Even nagwi life sciences, in any subject where you need to do labeling, avoid ukukrossa kanje. Akuvumelekile ukuthi mo labelisha kube nenye uyibeka kanje enye ukukrossa kanje. Cha akusebenzi kanjalo. Now, the only way of doing this, if wena uwenze now sengiyenza ke the right way, the correct way. If wena uwenze ngale ndlela le uqale ngaphansi, kusho ukuthi the next way uzoyenza ngaphezulu, hayi, then you have this, it gives us that. So a base will give us a conjugate acid. Yabona, it's beautiful. Yazi ungashutha ngisho isithombe eduze kwayo ibe yiselfie yakho ifake kuyilento. Buka inhle kangakanani i-labeling yalento. So now, let me explain this. The opposite of the other one. This being a base, look, in the hydrogen ne charge minus. Kodwa ngoba igain i-hydrogen. Ngoba igain i-hydrogen. Ngalena manje sena hydrogen aba more than leyo kade inayo. Bekuyi hydrogen eyodwa. So go hydrogen abangaki na about 2. So we have H2. Each charge it was -1. Now ngoba kungene u+1, then sekuzoba yini na? Sekuzoba neutral, it will be 0. So it's H2SO4. So this being a base, lena isnikeza a conjugate acid, na a conjugate acid yakhona. Let's take another example. Let's take this. Let me say we have NH3 plus H2PO4 minus yields NH4 plus and PO4 3 minus. So we have that. So we have NH3 plus H2PO4 minus yields NH4 plus and PO4 and what a mistake, and HPO4 2 minus and HPO4 2 minus. We are given that. Now, identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Okokuqala ake sibheke buka le charge neutral hydrogen bawu 3 buka ngalena manje hydrogen sebe u4. Okay, i-charge manje from neutral to positive kusho ukuthi ngalena kungene u-H plus la kungene u-H plus, but it was NH3 kwathi mase kungena u-H plus kwaba u-NH4 or H manje bawu4 ne charge manje is no longer neutral, it's plus. Kusho ukuthi le njengoba igaine i-H plus njengoba igaine i-proton, so this is a base and this one it becomes a conjugate acid. Conjugate acid. It's a base, this one is a conjugate acid. So obviously this one will become an acid, this one becomes a conjugate base, conjugate base. So this one becomes a conjugate base. Now let me explain any interpretation, the way they interpret it in other textbooks. Mina ngibeka kanje, khona amanye ama textbooks ababeka kanje. Kodwa kukhona amanye ama textbooks abeka kanje na. Athi wona in their labeling angisulele si label shele. Sisuse le siqale kuqala. All right. Now let's check. Let me explain ukuthi amanye ama textbooks ayisho kanjani, and I hope and I know ukuthi some of my colleagues or teacher bayifundisa ngaleyo ndlela, but my advice ukuthi you must know yonke indlela yokuyisho, ngoba phela ngelinye ilanga uyofika endaweni athize uthole nje leyo textbook eyodwa bese kufanele uchazele umuntu udideke. We said this is an acid, so in textbook it acid 1. Oh, acid 1. Why is it 1? Ngoba phela yikho enye acid. Uqala ngayo acid 1. Acid 1 will give us what? Base 1. Acid 1 will give us base 1. Ngoba phela kuno acid. Layer acid, it gives us base. So, lo base 1 OE product, it's a conjugate base. Low base 1 OE product is a conjugate base. It in brackets it's CB. So you guys would see conjugate base. Now already says acid 1 and base 1. This one being a base. Already we have base 1. So this will be what? Base 2. Why base 2? What was not base 1? So base 2 will always give us acid 2. Base 3, acid 3. Base 5, acid 5. We product corner no number we have fun. So we have base 2 will give us what? Acid what? Acid 2. So this is how other textbooks they explain ngayo a conjugate acid-base pair. So we have something of that nature. Let me write a very tricky one. A very tricky one. You might have an equation. Nancy equation. Tell me about HCl. Or let's say about OH minus plus Cl minus yields HCl plus O2 minus. We are given this equation. This is an equation. Identify the conjugate acid-base pair. Now, mawethu, uma ubona le equation, zisuka nje kuwena, ubona le OH minus, you tell yourself it's a base. It's not a base. Ngibhale ngabomu nje leyana. Ngoba I know a lot of learners, a lot of teachers, baba nenkinga when it comes to this. I-role eyidlalayo ngokwale equation. That's what I'm saying. Ngokwale equation. It was OH minus. We know, man, ukuthi vele ngokwe arenas this is a base. But ngokwale equation, the idea behind ukubhala le equation is to show you ukuthi what is a base, what is an acid, what is a conjugate base, what is a conjugate acid. Now this one, ngoba in the OH minus, buka ke manje, seyisala sohambile OH plus, so ku O2 minus. It's from OH minus to O2 minus. Okay. Yini le? It's an acid. Yazi uyakuthusa. Hayibo. Oh manje usifaka ehlathini manje. Cha sikho ehlathini. Sila, siseklasini. Alikho nje ehlathi la around. So acid. Now njengoba i-acid iyosinikeza na conjugate base. Conjugate base. Conjugate base. Mawuthanda acid 1, base 1. Sesiza la Cl minus, this being an acid, this is a what? It's a base. Isinikeza ni base na, isinikeza yini na conjugate acid. Ake ngibhale in full. Owase Cape Town angayitshela ukuthi sikhuluma ukuthi this is Cape Town. Conjugate acid. Conjugate acid and a conjugate base. So this is how you represent the conjugate acid-base pair. Go ma equations.